you! Today is going to be an interesting video because I am actually going to be talking to you real time instead of doing a voiceover later. I've gotten some questions about my method of sketching. I do think I sketch like a little differently than I've seen other people do. I'm sure other people do this, but I have gotten some questions about it specifically because I absolutely hate pencils. Like graphite pencils. And so I thought that, yeah, okay, let me kind of show everybody what I've been doing. First of all, I always sketch with my Prismacolor colored pencils. I really love Prismacolors because they're so buttery soft, and I really don't want to ever have to press hard, especially in a sketch, to be able to get that color that I'm looking for, that depth of tone that I'm looking for. I also always sketch with these grippers. I tried doing it without them. If you've seen my videos before, you might know that I did have a wrist injury at one point, which is why I originally switched to digital art, but now I'm back to traditional. So I use tools like this to help me not get so much strain and pain in my wrist, and they really help. These kind of grippers are really more for control because they keep your hand and your wrist very stiff while you're drawing. As you can see with this purple Prismacolor, for example, this is my darkest color that I have right now, and this is the color that I most normally use for line work. So for example, I used this colored pencil for the line work for this painting that I did, and I love the way it turned out and everything, but I am kind of getting annoyed with this pencil because it is so short now and it is breaking constantly. This pencil out of this set, the tip has broken so many times, and I find that really frustrating. Here's some sketches I have been doing recently. This kind of gripper I have over here is more so the grippers that I use when I want a more free-flowing sketch. So I normally like these kind of grippers for the under sketch. I don't like to have my hand be really stiff when I'm just trying to map out what the shape is going to be. So let's see, these are all of the Prismacolors I currently have. And as you can see, some of them are getting pretty short now. I really love them, but it is true that Prismacolors are pretty expensive. Later in this video, I would like to try these out. Ohuhu was nice enough to gift me their new oil-based colored pencils, probably because I am pretty open about loving Prismacolors, and supposedly these are made specifically to be a rival for Prismacolors. I am not a colored pencil expert because I just use them for sketching and line work. I don't do like these full color pencil illustrations like what's on the front here, but I am super excited, especially since these are getting pretty low. But we'll do that later. I want to use what I normally use first. I think it would be fun to try drawing some birds today. I absolutely love birds, and there are plenty of species of birds I have not tried drawing yet. So first up, I think I want to draw a toucan, because have you ever seen a toucan and thought, that looks like a real bird? Because I have not. I do not think toucans look real. I think they are very strange. If I were to find out they were actually robots, I think I would actually believe that. What I like to do first is I like to choose a very light color. This is a light blue. If I really cared about the undersketch not showing, I would probably choose one of these pinks, but I need you all to be able to see what I'm doing. So I do have this light blue color here, and I don't really bother sharpening it for the undersketch because I care a lot more about just getting the shape down than I do about the crispness of the lines. Second, what I like to do is I like to look at the picture and figure out what shape it is that I care about the most, or what detail it is that I care about the most. So in this picture specifically, I think it's really the beak. The beak is so large, almost as large as this bird's body, and I just think it's really interesting, and so that's really the shape I want to make sure I capture as good as I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and start here, and I'm gonna sketch kind of large because this is the first time I've drawn in a few days now, so I'm gonna be a little rough at first, and that is okay. I used to do my under sketches with circles, and I really don't like doing that anymore. I feel like I would get kind of confused in the circle. And so now I undersketch. I try to make my undersketches as angular as possible, and I will add the more organic shapes on top of it after that point. I would also like to say that this is not an exercise in accuracy here. This is just for fun. If I really care about accuracy, I go a lot slower than this, and I'm already not a fast sketcher. Kind of spending a lot of time on the claws because I never feel like I make bird claws look real or accurate, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And even if I think it looks pretty close to the picture, I still don't think it looks correct. So, you know, maybe that's a bird problem and not a me problem, you know what I'm saying? So this I would kind of consider to be a good and finished under sketch. I am going to go ahead and start refining it. So I'm going to move forward with this purple colored pencil now. Let's see if it will cooperate because it continues to crack on me. So we will see. I don't think I should have started with the eye because like I said, I'm feeling pretty rusty. Oh my God, doesn't he look nice though? He looks like a nice toucan, like he'd be so nice to you. Let's give him a little smile because he'd be nice. Oh yeah, he is nice. If you were lost in the jungle, he would totally help you. He'd be like, no problem, kiddo. I will totally help you. Oh, you know, this is something else you need to know about me. I hate erasing. I do hate erasing, so whatever issues happen here, we are rolling with it. I should have prefaced that. Even when I did my painting of the dove back here, I didn't erase anything. I was like, whatever. Also, when I sketch, you might be able to tell something I do is I don't totally know how to explain this, but I don't connect all of my lines. Probably gonna be able to see that as I go on, but I don't do that, and I also don't totally know why I do that. Maybe I just feel like I can get a little bit more gesture into the lines if I don't connect them. See, I kind of messed up there, but I am not going to erase, so I'm going to go back down under it, and then I'm going to kind of fill in this spot because under the branch is a little bit dark anyway, so I'm just going to make that part of the shading that probably would have been there anyway. And then especially when it comes to wood, I try to keep my hand pretty loose because I don't feel like wood ever has like a really good straight edge if it's in a natural scene like this. And I probably should also preface that I am not a professional. I did not go to art school. I am just a hobbyist and I am just here to vibe with you guys. This is also the stage that I start to take more creative liberty with things that I want to change or ideas that I have. I kind of accentuated this detail where the bark is peeled off of this wood here. I kind of accentuated that detail just because I think it's cool. I hope that drawing with you guys and explaining why I do things more will maybe help you understand more about how I just like to have fun. And I think that especially if you're not trying to make a career in your art, just having fun is the most important part, and I really hope that all of you are having fun with it too. And so I like to tell you guys when I am doing something just for fun. These talons, claws, I don't know. They look insane and they look wrong, but you know what? You know what they're supposed to be at least, so whatever. I just can't ever draw them in a way that looks believable to me. Like that looks like some kind of scorpion or something. I think too, what I kind of have a problem with is I think birds are really cute and really beautiful, but their talons are like freaking scary. So I don't really feel like his feet match his vibe. Like this guy here is scary. This guy here would totally help you on your adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, why I didn't make that a whole line, I don't know. That was just the vibe. That line didn't want to be a whole line, and this one does, so I don't know what to tell you. So I don't know why I do a lot of the things I do. I also get quite lost in bird tails. They're under a bird's body, especially in photos, there is a lot of shadow under here and it gets pretty hard to see what is going on. So I can see here that I accidentally made the wing on this side too small for my liking. And so I'm just drawing right on top of that. It's fine, I don't care. And I am also going to color it in a bit, which is why I don't care that I drew right on top of it. Now I'm doing that because in the photo, Mr. Toucan here is quite a bit dark on that side of his body too. Let's see, so he has white here, orange here and here, and then black down his back. Now I am not going to be coloring these sketches because like I said, they're just for fun, but I do want to try to kind of show some depth that he has without needing to use colors. And this is when I like to do some cross-hatching. I like cross-hatching. I even did it digitally a lot because I like how you can really add a lot of texture and movement to a sketch. And as for what angle I draw the crosshatches, unfortunately, I also just kind of vibe with that. So right here, first of all, he has some feathers here in the photo that are missing in my drawing because I don't really totally understand where they're coming from. They're like here-ish, but we are just gonna pretend that they don't exist. And the way we're gonna do that is just scribble right in over top of them. And I'm gonna put some shading in his tail here. Let's see, what am I missing? He needs some shading here. He has this dark spot on his beak. That is pretty cool. He has dark spots here too. I think I'm about done with him. I think it's time to move on and try a different bird. I think let's try a smaller bird because I don't want this page to be just him. So let's do like a small fat bird. That's exactly what I'm typing into Google, small fat bird. I love the little chunky birds. They're so funny to me. He looks so angry. Let's try a different color for the undersketch. When I'm sketching, especially the undersketch, I really don't want the pencil to be sharp. So, see, that's a little bit sharp for my preference, but it'll be okay. See, these grippers, a lot of times I'll also pull them up farther up on the pencil. That way I can have a looser wrist while I'm trying to get this. So if you look at the bird is very circular. And for whatever reason, I've kind of noticed that if I start with a circle, I find it a little bit more confusing about the bird. Now that I'm drawing it right here, I'm kind of realizing that it's gonna look like he's sitting on this branch with the toucan. So let's just go with that. Let's lower him a bit so he can sit with Mr. Toucan here. I know that they do not live in the same place, but whatever. I can kind of do a circle to kind of map out where I want him to be, but when it comes to actually laying down the shapes of his body, I'm gonna use squares again. Well, I'm gonna use straight lines again, I guess, is how I should describe it. Again, his creepy little feet. He's not, I don't know if this bird, how easily he'd actually be able to sit on this, but we're gonna pretend. His feathers need to come down much lower. Birds are so funny because like this guy's beak is huge. Bigger than his body. Like this actually is not very accurate. His beak should have been much larger, like maybe gone out to here-ish, but I didn't have room on the page. This guy's beak is so tiny, like the size of his little eyes. So I am kind of mapping out a triangle here because I don't want to get carried away and accidentally make his face too large, because part of what makes him funny is that his face is so tiny. He also has these like kind of crazy looking eyebrows, which I think are really funny. Now he is so round that if we don't start adding some kind of definition and shape here, he is not totally gonna look like a bird. He kind of looks like a chick that is not yet been hatched at this point. Okay, so now he looks like a furry egg. Perfect. He kind of looks like a furry egg regardless, so I'd say we're on the right track here. I think I'll do this dark green as the line art this time. Even though it would make it look more like he was sitting on the branch if he was that purple color like Mr. Toucan here. I do kind of want to show that he wasn't originally going to be on the branch, that he was an afterthought. So when I do their eyes for these little guys, I do a little crescent shape. And then I make a more rounded circle inside of it. Okay, look, this is breaking. Oh my god, so annoying. So his eye is now messed up because my pencil is breaking. And because I don't erase, we're gonna roll with it. Now he looks like he's seen some things, and you know what? He has. He has had a hard life. That's what's fun about sketching for me though. I know when I was younger, I used to get so annoyed if a sketch was not coming out the way I wanted it to, and now I just roll with it. I think it's funny, I think it's fun. Plus, once a sketch is already like quote unquote ruined or messed up, you can have a lot more fun with it because the pressure's off of it now. So I kind of like the fact that he is starting to look a little bit wild, and I think he has more personality for it. Let's kind of accentuate the fact that he has like a little bit of fuzz coming up on his head. I don't totally know what this section, I don't totally know, no. I'm saying is I don't totally know what this section of his body is exactly. I think his wing is behind him a little bit. Well, a bit actually. But I do kind of need to show that he has some kind of wing anatomy here. I'm gonna try to press very light so maybe this pencil can actually make it through this sketch now. If something's really fuzzy, I like to not add a straight line always. So right there, I just did like a lot of cross hatching to show fuzzy. And then I kind of finished the line like that. So here, let's do it again. Oh, and we're starting to break again. I'm gonna do some fuzzies here, and then I'm gonna do a line. And let's see, I need to kind of show he had some kind of wing situation. Oh, poor guy, not even his wings are symmetrical. Oh. Now I'm gonna do more fuzzies and a line again, just because I think it's cute. And if something is fuzzy, it doesn't normally have a straight silhouette, and so I just kind of accentuate that. So his legs kind of come far up into his body. It looks kind of funny. So I'm also gonna exaggerate that a little bit because he looks so wild right now that I think making him as funny as possible is just fun. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do his creepy little talons, and I'm not putting a lot of effort into them because I think they're creepy. And then now I'm gonna do a little bit of cross hatching in places to show where he has some shadow. Because again, I'm trying to make this little fuzzball look like he has some kind of anatomy under this fuzz. I mean, he looks like he got swallowed by a cat and spit back out, and I think that's hilarious. Yeah, I actually love him. I think some of my worst sketches are actually some of my favorites because I think they're so funny. Like, this is kind of the creative liberties I take personally and I think are fine. So I darkened the sides of his, like, kind of where you can see his wings because I know that it doesn't look like that in the photo, but I think that it looks better to kind of point out that that is something different than the rest of his anatomy. I think he's pretty much done, and I am getting frustrated with how often these are breaking, so let's go ahead and try these now. So the rep for Ohuhu that I was talking to is saying that these colored pencils perform at about 80% of the quality of a large brand like Prismacolor, but that they are about 1/3 of the price, which I think is pretty cool. And especially since I just used them for sketching, I really hope that this is better because this is a lot more price effective than just a few pencils from Prismacolor. Here we go, here we go. Swallowing pencil shavings may cause choking or digestive issues. Yeah, I would say that, yeah. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. This is a lot of pencils, a lot of pencils. Also, what's interesting here is these are metallic pencils. This is a gold and a silver one. I have to know what that means immediately. I mean, I think they are a little bit shiny. Let's choose another bird to try to draw. Let's just do this very basic crane first. He's just standing there hanging out, having a good time. So I'm gonna give these pencils the same treatment I give my other ones. So I'm gonna put some grippers on them while I'm using them because I don't want that to change the way I think about it. The actual pencil is ever so slightly thicker than a Prismacolor, which I personally appreciate because I don't like drawing with thin pencils. All right, so let's start sketching this crane. Okay, immediately I'm noticing I really love how bright this orange is. This is actually brighter than I thought it would be by a lot. When I draw cranes specifically, I take the gesture of their neck and I bring it out through their beak. Does that make sense? So this S shape ends at the tip of their beak, not the tip of their like skull. I think cranes are cool because their necks are super weird. Right now I feel like this kind of area of him is looking really separated from the rest of his body. Hopefully that's just because this is a very organic shape and this is a very angular shape. So let's try to work on that because I may have made his body too large here. See his leg. I also like how cranes have this like really pronounced knee situation. I don't know what crane's feet look like though. I have not seen a crane's foot yet, which is fine because the talons are probably creepy just like other birds. But even this crane is standing in a bunch of stuff, so I can't really see what he's standing in. Okay, I already can tell that I can press harder with this lead, so I am having fun doing that. Maybe I do press hard. Now I'm kind of wondering. So now I am kind of exaggerating some of the curves of the crane. That's just something I do. I don't know. I think realism artists would be mad at me for that, but whatever. Okay, now let's do a dark color to do the like line art. Let's do this like really dark red. I have to say these pencils are really pretty. I don't know if that's a weird thing to say. I think they're quite a bit prettier than my Prismacolor ones are. Let me show you kind of what I'm looking at here. Hopefully you can see my Prismacolors, they have this silver paint stamped into them. Like I can feel that, and honestly it's stamped pretty messy in my opinion. Hopefully you can see that it's kind of messy. Like this grass green is, I don't know, it's stamped in there pretty hard, and so I can see some of the wood of the pencil underneath, and the paint is smeared a little bit. Whereas this Ohuhu, which I am so sorry, I do not know what that word is. Halawa? My country's coming out, I don't know. This is stamped really beautifully. It is not pressed in too hard. I don't see the wood under the pencil, and it is a very clean gold. It is not kind of pooling or looking messy on the edges here. It also has this, I don't know what you would call that, but I like it. I think it looks pretty and it finishes off the pencil. So I'm just saying that because this pencil is significantly cheaper than this one. And if you use Prismacolors, you know how expensive they are. And so I think that they could try harder to make the details on the actual pencil nicer. I know that that doesn't really matter for the actual artistic quality, but it is something that I'm noticing when I'm using a much cheaper pencil, how much nicer it looks than that one. So I've kind of taken a little bit too much liberty with his skull here because really his neck should start curving in that way, but we're just gonna go with it. And say it with me, folks. Why? Because I hate erasing. Oh no, I do not like that. That looks weird. That looks weird. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm gonna try to save you, okay? There we go. Yeah, no, he looks funny. He looks good. I can't totally see what shape his eye is, so we're just gonna give him one of those. I'm kind of exaggerating the curves of his body. He kind of looks like in the nicest way possible, like a bag of lard. Oh no. Yeah, I think I overdid it a little bit because I didn't like how angular his body was in the undersketch, and now I've added too many twists and turns, and now he looks like he would do that thing when you poke a waterbed and you know, and it's like he definitely looks like he would do that. Poor guy. It's okay, it's okay. There are some days that I also feel like I look that way, you know what I mean? Let's see, I'm trying to do this kind of mulch or whatever it is he's standing in. He looks awkward in the best way. He looks like he to me looks like he just said something really awkward at a party and now is just standing there facing the repercussions of that. And I think that's hilarious. Let's just color in his head a little bit. Let's just do some suggestion of feathers. If you totally love feathers and want to get into every single one, freaking go for it. But I get kind of confused, and when I have tried to do all of the feathers, I do sometimes feel like it ends up looking like scales. This side of his body is a bit darker than that like white spot he has on his neck, so I'm just gonna fill it in kind of lightly. And then this is pretty dark right here where his little legs are. And then I am gonna start doing that cross hatching I like to do to kind of show where the light and the shadows are. Really where the shadows are, I guess, is what I'm doing. Let's do a couple here. I think I'm about done with him. I think I'd like to try another crane though, because I don't think I've done the species justice. I do have to say. I'm just adding a little bit of the background elements here because I feel bad for him. You know, at least he just said something really awkward at a party, and he feels really awkward about it, and I'm sorry. Okay, he's kind of cool though. He's cool though. Let's try this one. Don't think this is the same kind of crane though. Again, I'm choosing another color to go with, another color combination to go with, because I just do that. I'm so sorry that all of my answers are like, well, I just do that. It's because I like to see that I drew all of these things separately, and that's just a personal preference, and it doesn't have any rhyme or reason, I must say. This color looks, it says light rose, but it's looking pretty fluorescent, so I don't know. Also, the camera angle might change soon because it is dying. Yeah, this is a really pretty color. Wow, that is really pretty. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of Prismacolors, so I can't really show you whether or not Prismacolor has a pencil that would, you know, be this color. I'm sure they do. But I only have one of their small sets, and the reason I have only one of their small sets is because they're so expensive. I would not buy 72 of them. Now, if Prismacolor wanted to send me some, that's fine, but I still don't think I would tell you guys to buy them because they're so expensive. Let's see, how do I want to make this leg look like it is in motion? So I also kind of want to get that knee in there because I think their knees are funny. I am thinking she's gonna look more cross-legged. I don't know why she's a woman all of a sudden. I have no idea. I gender all these birds and I have known nothing about birds. I just start making stories for the things that I'm drawing. See, oh, she is suddenly not looking very elegant. She's looking a little bit more like she needs to pee, and you know what? We've all been there, it's fine. She has this back feather that I tucked a little bit too much. Let's bring it out a little bit more. And I'm gonna darken it because it's darkened in the photo. It's in shadow, shall we say. She has this kind of line that goes up her back where the different sides of the feathers meet. Or wings, I should say. I'm kind of making her look hairy now, unfortunately. That's kind of another reason I like to do cross-hatching instead of this, because this kind of mimics hair, which is not really the texture I'm trying to get here. So I did a little curve at the end of her beak here because there's the slightest little curve in the photo, and that was just a detail that I thought would be cool to grab and bring out more. I think her head is too small compared to her body. Oh no, oh, oh no. Okay, she's not looking right, guys. All right, so I kind of messed up her face a little bit. I'm sorry, queen. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, wait, I might be fixing it. Again, I would rather just have an ugly crane than erasing this, and I don't know why. There we go. She's coming back. I love that I can press harder with these. I feel like this one is layering strangely on top of this pink one. Yeah, it is kind of layering strange on top of the pink. I wonder if it's because the pink is kind of a fluorescent color, and so the makeup of the lead is kind of strange. This doesn't really matter for sketching, but if you are someone that does illustrations in full colored pencil, that might be something you would like to know. I feel like this purple pencil is not going as dark as I would like it to go right now, because it's only not as dark as I would like it when it's on top of the pink, so I'm not totally sure what that means. Because the pink still shows up quite a bit, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Again, doesn't matter for sketching, but might matter to you, so I want to say it. Right now she's looking a little bit too much like a blob, so I'm going to try to show that she has some anatomy by adding some shadows here. Her whole head is in shadow. Do I want to do that though? We're doing it. I need to darken her eye though, since I did that. And, oh yeah, slay queen. I started saying that after, I started saying that as a joke to my husband after watching the Do We Know Them podcasts with Jessie Smiles. She says that all the time, and it gets on my husband's nerves, so obviously I had to start saying it, and now I can't stop saying it though, so really the joke is on me. I do not like how that turned out looking. Okay, I think I'm bringing it back. Maybe that's actually my process for sketching. I just continuously go, no, oh yeah. Again, can't see the crane's feet. Crane's feet remain a mystery to me. I like these sketches. I think they're fun. I like being able to see the color underneath. I think that's really fun. And I like how underneath her is kind of like a neon pink, and underneath him is this neon orange kind of look. I really like it. I just like how colorful pages are. So should we start talking about why I hate pencils? I hate how messy graphite is. I don't really like messy art supplies in general. I have never really liked them. I don't really like oil pastels for that reason. I don't like how it feels on my hands. I just don't like being messy. That's why I like, see, I can't like totally layer that the way I want to though, right there. When it comes to like reviewing things for you guys, I definitely get more critical of the item than I normally would if I was just using it, but I think that's kind of the whole point. Let's try to blend her wing into the darkness a little bit better. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten that I was talking about pencils. I haven't forgotten my number one enemy, pencils. I just hate, okay, how a pencil, when you use it, not these, obviously, I'm talking about graphite gray pencils, okay? I don't like how they smear. And I know you can use fixative, I know you can place a piece of paper down and all of that, but like I get my hands all up in what I'm doing. I think This side of my hand, maybe you can see it, is already kind of colored pink and a little bit of orange from just rubbing my hand over all of this stuff. I rub my hand on it, okay? And I want to be able to. That is my God-given right. If I'm drawing the art, I want to be able to touch the art. So I want to doodle around just a little bit more here. I don't have as much space as I would like to draw more birds, so I think we'll just doodle a little bit just to test these color pencils a little bit more. Maybe let's try to do a color test. Let's see if I can find a color that's similar to these Prismacolors over here. I do see that there's not a lot of pinks in this set, I will say that. Pink is kind of my thing. But okay, these two colors are pretty similar. I'm not gonna be able to find any exact matches, of course. Even though the paint here is kind of similar, the colors up here of the lead are not. So maybe this isn't the best, but we are just gonna go with it anyway. So first, I'm gonna lay down this Prismacolor color right here. I think would be a good spot for you guys to see it. And I am gonna press pretty hard and try to get a very rich, flat color here. Prismacolors are known for being very buttery, so that wasn't difficult at all. Now I'm going to use this Ohuhu one, which isn't a perfect color match, but it's similar enough. And do the same thing. Performed basically the same. As far as I can tell, that's a flat color and I didn't have to press crazy hard or anything. It is just as smooth. Now, I don't normally do this, but I know some of you might. So let's try to blend two colors, a dark green and a light green. So I believe how to blend two color pencils together is you first kind of start out with a light coat, kind of some light kind of circular scribbles here. And then I am going to use the darker Prismacolor and I'm going to go from the other side inward and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start kind of light and I am also, what I mean by light is light pressure, and I'm also going to go kind of circular. You just got to blend back and forth. Push and pull, push and pull. That's about as good as my blending capabilities can do at the moment, which, hey, isn't half bad for me never doing it. But now let's try it with the Ohuhu. So we're gonna let's do this light green color again. And this is the darkest green with my lightest green in my Prismacolor set, and this is my darkest green with a light green. It's definitely not the lightest. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start out with this light green color, and in a light pressure but circular motion, I am going to color in this direction to the right. And then I'm going to use this dark green color in a light pressure, and I'm going to color in a circular motion to the left. Now I'm going to start pressing harder. First, you're going to notice that these colors are quite a bit more dull than the Prismacolor ones are. I think that's just because that is the colors I've chosen here. But to be fair, I think I maybe want to try some other colors against each other because this is much brighter than this one is. I think they blended fine. Again, this isn't a whole illustration, but I think they blended together just fine. But just to see, I want to see if the Ohuhu ones are duller than the Prismacolors in general, which I don't think they are. The pink and the orange were so bright. I've grabbed this blue Prismacolor. It is shade non-photo blue, and I'm going to color as hard as I can with it just to see how bright the color is, and then I'm going to compare some other Ohuhu blues next to it. So this one in the center is going to be Prismacolor. Again, very buttery, very rich color and texture, immediately makes a very good solid blue. Now let's try some blues from Ohuhu. And I'm going to try a few different shades because I am not going to have perfect color matches. I mean, I think that looks fantastic. Let's try maybe a pink rose in a Prismacolor. Let's do that now and see what we think. I just want to be as fair as possible to Ohuhu and as fair as possible to Prismacolor. And I'm pressing very hard. Immediately I'm noticing this pencil has a different texture. than the other ones have so far. If I were to guess, I would say that this pencil has a little bit more wax base in it than pigment than the other ones have been having. So that is something to notice. In person, it's looking a little bit fluorescent again. See, this feels normal again. Immediately, I'm noticing this color is really soft. The lead is nice and soft, and it's beautiful. So in case you don't remember, the Prismacolor swatches of the blue is this one, and of the pink was this center one here. This is the silver and gold down here that I swatched earlier, and I think you can tell now that they are more metallic than the other colors are. Let's try black. I do like having a black colored pencil now, assuming I'm gonna like this pencil, because then I can do line art in black again if I want to. I think that looks really good. Let's try another light color, a very light color, and see if it is waxy. So here we have the lightest color in the entire set besides white, which is desert yellow. Okay, that doesn't feel waxy at all. L. lemon yellow. I wonder why. I wonder why it's worded like that. Surely lemon yellow isn't trademarked or something, right? Yeah, this one is a fluorescent color, but it's not waxy. Man, that is very saturated. Interesting, that, because that is very bright. Like, you could highlight a book with that. And no, it's not. So the only one waxy that I have found personally so far, which I have not swatched all of the pencils yet at all, but the only one I found is just straight pink, and it still looks good in my opinion. If I kind of sketch with it, let's see how it's different or the same. I mean, it feels normal to me. Let's try to color in this star since it's an organic shape. I am first going to color it in lightly, and then I will press harder to try to get a nice even tone. So I've colored it in lightly, now we're gonna press hard. This is also why I don't use colored pencils for actual illustrations, is because you have to press so hard to like kind of finish off the color, and that is just pretty bad on my wrist. Like, I can feel it right now. And that's not an Ohuhu thing, that's just a colored pencil thing. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is I definitely can get a nice even patch of color, and it's feeling less waxy to me than it did before. You can see over here, so specifically on this side of the star, is waxier, and the pigment is a little bit more dispersed unevenly than it is over here. So I kind of wonder, and there's also this dark spot of pigment that is just there. I don't know why it's there. Let's see, I'm trying to like kind of scrape it off or whatever, but it's not really going away. I kind of wonder if this lead has some kind of waxy coating that after you get through that, it's normal again. Let me smear it a bit. Now let's try to color in this square and see if any of those dark spots get left behind. Let's see, let's press dark to kind of lock that color in there. I mean, that didn't happen that time. Honestly, pink, you are a mystery to me. If someone that knows more about colored pencils will be able to tell me what's going on here, I'm not sure. I think the most important thing to remember with sketching is just to have fun. Even if you're sketching for a finished piece, have fun with it. You want to remember having fun doing the finished piece, and that's what's most important to me, and I hope that that is something you take away from this, to also just have fun with your sketches. I hope that I was able to explain my thought process kind of okay, hopefully. Unfortunately, a lot of my process is a lot of vibes. As for the colored pencils, I'm still going to sketch with my Prismacolors. I like them, but I am getting really annoyed with how often they break. And I did notice that not a single Ohuhu pencil that I tried, and I tried a lot of different ones here, they never broke. I am impressed by that because I do find them breaking while I'm trying to sketch to be really annoying, because even if it messes up one line or makes one line kind of shaky or smudgy, that is one line in the sketch that looks really strange now. So I think that I'm going to be more inclined to use those pencils for sketching now. I would be curious if these Ohuhu pencils layer just as good as the Prismacolors did on top of a finished piece. I guess I should say that I use color pencils in two ways. Well, three ways. I use them to sketch, I use them for line art, for a finished piece, and I also use them for details on top of a piece. Now that's whether I do it with acrylic markers, watercolor, alcohol markers, in general, doesn't matter. I almost always go back on top with some kind of colored pencil. I think if you use colored pencils the way I do, I don't see any reason not to go with Ohuhu over Prismacolor currently, at least that's my opinion. But yeah, if you want to watch me sketch again in the future, or if you would like to see me do more live drawing where I'm also talking at the same time instead of doing a voiceover, totally let me know. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so you know, but I'm new to YouTube, so every single video is basically the first time I've ever done anything like that. I really appreciate you all supporting me and watching my videos. Because of you, I get to try these cool art supplies, and I get to have art supplies again, because I have not had very many for a long time, because I've been a digital artist for years now. So it is really nice to be able to get some supplies again, try some things again, and see what I like. So yeah, I think that's it from me, guys. I hope that you like this, and I hope to see you all in the comment section. I love talking to you guys. And yeah, if you want to see more of me drawing and listening to more of me talking, like and subscribe. All right, bye guys.